Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm Envy Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And we're back once more. Well, this is a new thing that we're doing this week. Sort of a new thing, but also an old thing. We did the Shonen Showdown 2 years ago. God, that feels like a while now. And we decided to do another tournament, so now we're in the Collect Them All tournament. And it's going to be all about shows that are trying to sell you things. And, we do need to go over one thing beforehand, because last week, if you were there last week, you saw the brackets and everything else that we were setting up. Unfortunately, there's going to be a change in the next couple weeks for that. We had to remove one show, Weiss Survive, from the card game category, because as it turns out, I should have done research. Turns out those episodes are only 2 minutes apiece. So that's a little unfair in the sense of like, well, no one's gonna vote for it because it's so short, or people hate everything else so much that it's so short that it just automatically wins. Either way didn't seem like it was working on a sort of even playing field, so
I think that Ecchi Season 2 could have given it the edge.
you know what? We'll maybe look at
Definitely
it.
have an edge.
We'll maybe look at it after the tournament, see if it was any good. Maybe it would have won the whole thing. I don't know, but it just didn't seem right to do it for this particular one. We'll be replacing it with actually a new anime that came out in 2021. It was a new anime and card game that came out simultaneously called Build Divide, which, if you Google that, most of what you get are like financial websites. So, researching that I at least found out that it was like, a full time length, like a normal show. So that'll be going up against Cardfight Vanguard in, I want to say, 2 weeks. And let's get down to business for this particular week. We're in the action figure bracket, and our first fight is between Gundam Build Fighters and Zoids, specifically Zoids Chaotic Century. So, first off, just real general question. Anyone seen any of these before? I've seen Zoids a little bit in the past.
I've seen both.
You have? Okay. Anyone else?
I'm gonna say Chaotic Century was the wrong choice. I know why you did it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've
no,
seen Zoids New Century.
I feel like
'Cause that's the
everyone
one-
did, yeah.
The thing is, it's like, I feel like I've seen a little bit of this one too, but the other one just sticks with me more because Liger Zero, and it was like a white, Liger robot.
Yep, same.
But I think that this one would have hit more with my brother because dinosaur.
Okay.
I've never seen any Zoids.
Okay, well, there you go.
Never heard of Zoids until this week.
So this is going to be fun. It's news for some people. Kozi, to your point, you said I chose this one for a reason. The majority of these shows are the first iteration of them, the season 1, the series 1, the what have you. The only one that isn't like that is actually Gundam Build Fighters, which we'll be talking about first tonight.
Yeah.
And
that also makes sense because toys.
No.
Yeah.
I understood the choice for this one too. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see
I would
why
have
we went
rather
with this
seen the
one.
original one.
I understand that everyone probably would have rather seen the
Same.
original one, but I just
think New Century did a better job at selling stuff.
Well, we can definitely discuss that when we get to Zoids, but specifically, since we're going to start with Gundam Build Fighters, we should mention that Gundam Build Fighters is like the first show from Gundam that, Gundam's always trying to sell Gunpla, but this one is literally just to sell the Gunpla stuff. Mm-hmm. So we had to include it here. So why don't we start going into that? We're going to talk probably a little bit about the plot and everything, plot and the characters, and then we'll go into the categories and say what our yays and nays are for everything. So Gundam Build Fighters was about a kid whose dad, they say if he died or did he just out of the picture? I'm having trouble remembering. Anyway.
I think it's like Hunter x Hunter, where he's just supposedly out there somewhere.
Okay. Out there doing underground Gunpla battles?
Somewhere, yes.
A Gunpla Mafia. So.
There's a Gunpla Mafia. Anyway,
I think he was on a business trip or something like that.
He was on business trip and never came back.
Yeah.
He had to get a real job to support them.
I didn't even realize he wasn't in the picture.
He was there years ago, but he's not here now, and,
He wasn't at home.
Yeah, I thought he was just like at his day job or something. That's why we didn't see him.
I don't know, maybe. So, our main character is, God, what is it? Sayori? I kept thinking they were saying Sayori or something, and I was like getting Doki Doki flashbacks. So, he's a kid, and his family owns a model shop, specifically Gunpla, because in this world, Gunpla, you can bring them to life with special particle hologram things,
It's not
and they
to
fight.
life. It's a video game.
They specifically
It's VR,
say,
like amiibos.
they say in episode 3, they found a particle that brings them, that like animates them to some extent.
It's like VR Troopers, you just don't question it.
You don't question it, because when you
No,
do,
it's
it all falls
amiibos.
apart.
It's like VR amiibos.
Sure, whatever. Anyway, it's about him and some kid who he meets who's really good at fighting gunplas, but because like Sayori's no good at fighting gunplas, but this other kid Reiji's really good at fighting gunplas, so they're gonna team up and take over the gunpla tournament world thing. Also, Reiji's from another dimension. I was not expecting that. The reverse Eikai element here.
Okay, but you knew there was something going on with him.
I thought he was a genie at first. He gives him a
Actual
And me
genie.
too.
he gives him a
People
random
were just
rock.
like, he's
He's-
American.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought he was the reincarnation of this kid's father.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of
Right.
theories being thrown around here. Yeah, so they're gonna do that. They're gonna team up and fight model robots against other people with model robots, and some of them are in the mafia, and some of them are the student council president, and some of them are just random people, or
It
like
appeals to
Some
everyone.
of them are evil
Yeah.
capitalism.
yeah. Did I miss anything?
And some of them are.
I feel like I covered that.
Aliens?
What?
No, that's the other dimension thing.
Okay. Yeah, so why don't we go around and say what our general thoughts on this was. We can start off with the plot category. We'll probably just go down the line in the order that we usually introduce ourselves. So, for me, this plot, I kind of give it a meh. It gives me sports anime vibes, but it doesn't give me sports anime vibes in like I'm getting really pumped to see what they do kind of thing. It's throwing some kind of things in there that I'm kind of going like, oh, well, where's that? Okay. You have a guy who's randomly from another world. Why? I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but it's also like, okay. I don't know. It's very just middle of the road kind of meh for me.
Oh, can we also add that Reiji is the prince of the other world and has princely duties?
Yeah.
And he just keeps coming back to Earth because he's like, I'm good at video games there.
We can talk about that in characters.
Yeah, I can respect that, actually. Am I up, or were you still on yours?
Well, Gav's not here, so...
Okay. Yeah, I felt similarly about the plot. There was nothing that super interested me except Reiji. Like, I feel like he was the one thing that I was like, I have to know more about this kid. But I feel like that's more with characters than plot. So, I don't know. The plot itself was kind of thin for me. I felt like it was just an excuse to have Gunpla battles and to sell the Gundam toys. So, I don't know. I felt like everything else was just there as a filler to sell stuff, so it almost just felt like a generic story that's also a bit of a commercial. So I wasn't super engaged with it. I kind of blacked out a few times in the second and third episodes. I was kind of zoning out. So I wouldn't say that the plot really intrigued me. I think the first episode got me the most just because I was interested in seeing where it went. And once again, I was interested in seeing what was up with Reiji, but now that I know what's up with him, I'm not even sure I'm that interested in that. So I feel like for me, the plot overall was a bit of a nay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna rehash too much of what has been said because I pretty much agree with Yin's interpretation of it. It does really feel less like a Gundam show because, you know, it's Gundam, you're expecting like mechas fighting in space and aliens and all this other stuff. And this is literally just like you take Yu-Gi-Oh but you make it Gundam. And I'm just kind of like, I want to see space battles with robots. So nay.
I mean, I didn't mind it. I feel like these 3 episodes are just, to set up this weird capitalist world where Gunpla reigns supreme. Like, it's the number 1 export, it's the number 1 esport, it's the number 1 everything. And make sure. Oh yeah, have you heard about Gundam? Yeah, Gundam's a really great show. You should totally watch it. But in the meantime, here's a show about our figures, and then we'll probably get an underground mafia tournament or people that are betting and killing each other over Gunpla or something like that. But I mean, it was okay, I guess, the introduction to the characters. But yeah, I think the standout to me was probably the animation, which we'll get to later. But yeah, as far as the plot, I guess I'm kind of like a light yay to a meh.
Fun fact about me, back in high school, I used to go watch the first robotics tournaments when they would come around.
Oh.
So I would be like a spectator at these events, and I could not get into the show. Maybe it was because, like, the whole, like, they're going inside them or whatever thing kind of took me out of it. I would rather just see them, like, actual fight. I don't know. But it's... I think this would be a nay for me. But can you remind me of the categories again?
We're covering plot, characters, God, what did I change the world building to? Advertising, production, and final thoughts.
Okay, I think I'll save my other thought for final thoughts.
This was also kind of a nay for me. I think more because I am really into Gundam, and a lot of the fights don't make any fucking sense if you know Gundam. Like, the opening battle, no. Just no.
Without going into a whole 20-minute thing, what was wrong with it? I am interested.
So, in Gundam, you have a bunch of machines that are mobile units, but they're not actually Gundams.
Yeah, I was thinking about that a little bit.
And they are weaker to the Gundams. And they were basically saying Iori is so bad at video games that even though he has one of, like, the most top-tier Gundams, he still fell to what equates to, like, a grunt.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just emphasizing how shit he is.
Yes.
There's just such a difference in power naturally, it wouldn't have mattered. It would be like having a Pokemon battle between, like, a legendary Pokemon and, like, a level 5 Magikarp. And the Magikarp winning.
I feel like you're exaggerating, but I also feel like you're not.
Could be legit.
It depends on the series you're going off of. And based off of their series, I am not. But anyways, yeah. So that and how wacky and just... I feel like it's out of touch with the actual fan base. Or even trying to get new people in.
See, I was wondering about that because I was like, is it just because I don't know much about Gundam that I'm not enjoying this and maybe it appeals to fans? But
no.
I guess not.
I can't imagine anyone other than a fan or us watching that, but we're watching it for a very specific reason.
Yeah, so I thought maybe
children.
This is just for fans. I don't know.
No, this was targeted at children.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is not for fans. This is for kids who want to get into Gundam, but don't want to watch the original show.
Oh, so it's meant to be like a gateway Gundam.
Well, so Gundam is usually a higher rating because it's always like about war and violence. So like if parents didn't want their kids necessarily watching like raping of peoples and worlds and violent deaths, you would put them in like Gundam Build Fighters or Gundam SD Force.
Oh, fuck. No. Not Gundam SD. No.
What's with that one?
Oh, let's not go into it.
Yeah, let's not go into it.
Let's not go into it. It's bad.
So, yeah. This was a nay plot for me.
Okay. So... we've touched it a little bit, but characters, why don't we go around for that? I think, Yin, you'll take this one first.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the main character is kind of what you'd expect. He's just, a kid who wants to be really, really good at this thing, especially because of his dad. So it's just kind of a generic protagonist. I didn't feel one way or the other about him, but I can see how he could be an audience surrogate. The only character I was really interested in was that redhead guy, Reiji, or whatever, because of he doesn't know anything about humans, and he doesn't know anything about school or food or anything. So I was like, what's with this guy? They already told me what's with him, so I wasn't as interested in his mystery anymore. But I would say, like, his general attitude is kind of fun. Like, I kind of liked him. But other than him, everyone else was just kind of generic. And honestly, I know it's because of the dub, but so many of them were made super annoying because of their voices. Like, the main guy's voice was grating as fuck. But I know it's not the fault of the original version, which probably the voices aren't quite as bad. So if I'm just talking about characters, I'll just give it a meh, because I didn't hate anyone aside from their voices. I just thought they were all kind of average, aside from Reiji, who I kind of liked. So just a meh for me.
I'm also gonna give it a meh. Mostly just because they're all kind of forgettable characters. Even Reiji, mostly because I'm like, oh great, what are you supposed to be? Some sort of like interesting weirdo from outer space? But
He's a
I don't
tryhard.
Listen, it's too predictable. I can't. And I guess our audience surrogate, it would have just been like, maybe if they had, I guess, if we're gonna focus on the toys, I guess I would prefer it to be characters more invested in the toys themselves and less about having robot battles. I don't know. But, maybe I'm not making sense.
I think you're making sense.
Okay, good, because it's late and my brain is kind of fried. But yeah, no. Nothing to really comment on here. It's not like I hated them. It's just Next.
Main character, kind of, generic, I want to be the very best, but also apparently I don't know how to pilot a robot, even though I'm a master craftsman.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I thought most of the characters were okay. I didn't mind the student council president. I thought he was cool, I guess, and I liked his I guess vice chairman or whoever it was, the guy that everyone kept calling a gorilla. I liked him. The one rival, he got on my nerves. The old man that just randomly pops into the store for no good reason. I guess he's a old Gunpla sergeant from a regiment of Gunpla players or something like that. He's fine, I guess. Mom's a MILF, I'll give her that. Otherwise, yeah, I'm kind of like a man with the characters.
First off, I kept calling that dude Reki, like from Skate.
Honestly, yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Also, there was a moment towards the end of the first episode. Kozi was saying something about one of the characters. I was like, wait, that kid's a boy? And she was like, yeah, they're both boys. I was like, what?
Oh,
Which
you mean
one?
protagonist?
Yeah.
Yeah, that threw me off too.
I think it's just because they're young, so they probably have
yeah.
like
Little more
a female voice actress playing them.
Yeah. That to me I wasn't surprised by. I will say, like, I was kind of like expecting that with the voice cast. So, which is good because I prefer it when they actually make the voice actors sound their age. Continue.
So once I realized they weren't girls, my interest dropped a lot. Because it feels like this is kind of a marketed as the boys' quote-unquote hobby.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Like, especially when that one girl comes into the shop later, is like, oh, I'm buying these for my brother. Do they make Gundams for girls?
When did that happen?
It's plastic!
I think I missed that part.
The one
It was
classmate of the
after
main.
credit scene.
Yeah, the one classmate of the
Sheena.
main character with the glasses. Yeah, who might secretly have a crush on him or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I did not stick around for the after credits.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, we watched that on accident.
Watched that on accident. Oh no, we watched the after credits scene. The horror.
If I may, at least to the point that was about there being like girl Gundams, G Gundam, or was it Gundam Seed? Hang on. No, G Gundam had a Sailor Moon Gundam.
Ooh!
I remember that show.
G Gundam was kind of wacky and out there, though.
But it was fun
But-
wacky.
Okay, for his defense, he did turn around and be like, "Yeah, Gundams are for girls."
Yeah, that was nice.
But you know what's funny too? The newest Gundam show that's out, The Witch from Mercury. It's actually
All female.
it's
basically.
it's two main characters that are female. So
Well, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm a meh. They're pretty unforgettable characters. No,
Unforgettable or forgettable?
I'm sorry. they are pretty forgettable.
They're unforgettably meh.
you're so bland, I can't forget you.
Yeah. They're extraordinarily bland. Wow. I
Miraculously
think-
mediocre.
I think if this was about girls, it'd be more like, yeah, it's not a gendered thing, it's just plastic. I would feel like a little more strongly about it, but
That's fair.
I'm actually a yay for the characters. More just for the comedic value of it. Reiji never gets any less funny, and I love to dunk on Iori so much.
I'm kind of a light yay here, sort of similar to what you're saying and what a little bit of what Envy was saying. Yeah, they're kind of generic. They're not great. Reiji's interesting enough to.
I actually
keep my
liked
interest.
him enough.
Yeah, and like I kind of like some of the side characters. Not like oh wow I need to see these people, but like they're fun enough. Coconut's kind of funny in small
Let me
doses.
guess, you like Fellini.
Yes, we will get to that. But yeah, no, he's there. Yeah, you got some one random Italian guy for like 2 scenes. Okay. I was actually kind of feeling Texas guy for some reason. He's just like, I don't know. He's just kind of weird, but also funny. He's like, just comes in and just starts talking. And he clearly has hots for the mom. I get it. But I kind of just love that thing whenever they're fighting at the school and he just shows up and the girl's like, who the heck is this guy? And he just like starts explaining what's happening. He's like, so who the heck is this guy? Yeah, I'm kind of a light yay here. I think that's it. Moving on to advertising. Chibi, you wanna
yeah.
were they able to sell you on this Gunpla?
Not really. I mean, not that anyone is really surprised. But it's just kind of one of those things where I think if they were going to try to sell the figures themselves, like, I really feel like I would prefer the show if it was like an advertisement for the figures themselves, to have the show just be about an otaku who really likes Gundam and him just collecting all of the different models. That would have been probably a bit more fun, but they turned it into kind of like, again, what Cece said, like Gundam, but with amiibos. And just like showing them off like more like the fighting virtual mech suit things. Which I'm like, first of all, your toys can't do that.
There might have been like a video game tie-in to this.
If there is a video game tie into this, that's perfect. That's great. That's actually like the exact thing you want to be doing with that sort of show if you're going to advertise the product. But I feel like that should be explained. Like, I don't know. I would like a bit more, and I guess the world building, I guess you would call it, because I would like for this thing to have a name, and this game itself to also be a product. But as far as I know, it isn't. Is it, Al? Do you know?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
If
Like,
it's like a video game, maybe Dynasty Warriors?
If there is a video game tie-in for, like, the figures, is this actually a thing that exists, and does it have a name?
Like their battle thing.
Yes.
I think just Gundam Build Fighters? Yeah, hang on. I saw something about, like, I think there was, like, a console game tie-in or something.
Okay. I was not aware of this. Because I did not research this before I started talking.
There are, like, a lot of, like, Gundam fighting games, so it might be hard to narrow that down.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find, like, a whole bunch of specifics. Maybe there isn't.
I mean, again, if there is a tie-in and that this whole show is essentially just like that game is sort of like a concept for like a show, that is fantastic. That's the entire thing for advertising. I would say that's great. As far as I can tell, though, I'm not seeing that, and also it's just kind of like again for me. Mostly just because, like, watching it is, like, not really getting me excited or getting me to want to buy anything. So, yeah. On the scale of nay to yay, how are we judging our, consumerism based on that, exactly?
I don't know. Would you get it? Would you go out and get some Gunpla after watching this?
I mean, I might if I actually kind of, like, had a favorite model that I enjoyed, but I don't really think that this show would be advertising me what I'd actually want to see, so nay.
Well, considering the whole point of this show was to basically say, oh yeah, look how cool Gundam is and look how cool our Gundam Fighters is, I think to me, it succeeded. I mean, in real life, would I spend $200 to $1,000+ on a Gundam? Probably not. But if I had loads of cash, yeah, maybe I would, because the figures are cool. I mean, I've always known about Gundam, and I've always known the figures look cool. So I think the series did its job to, advertise you on the Gundams and say, oh yeah, look at this cool shit. So I give it a high yay. Oh, and also if that exact game, exactly as programmed in 10 to 20 years actually existed in real life, I would still totally play that.
Just to throw out there, as far as prices go, I'm looking on like Amazon and some other places. I'm sure there are some higher end stuff.
They start at like 80 low end.
I'm finding like 20 to 30 seems to be the average. There's some higher ones like 50. I'm thinking like some of the more expensive elements are like the tools or like putting it all together, or maybe some paints eventually add up. But like, yeah, I'm not seeing anything that goes. Everything's under $100.
I will cover that when it's my turn for you.
Okay.
Those $20 to $30 ones are like the Duplo equivalent.
Probably. Well, they're from Bandai.
So, Kozi was telling me that the Gundams in the show, all the Gunpla, they're from previous Gundam shows.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
Except for the one him and Reiji start using for the tournament.
Right, they made that one custom, right?
Yeah.
And so, like in this whole tournament, we're kind of looking at these shows as commercials, yes?
More or less.
But that would make Gundam Build Fighters a commercial of commercials. They're not advertising the toys, they're advertising the show that advertises the toys.
By advertising the toys?
Yeah, I would argue that they are, like, marketing, like, the individual, like, Gunplas.
It's a little too meta for me, I think. Personally, I would be more affected by, like, a slow TV ASMR stream of somebody building these things. Not
I'm sure that exists.
some kids plugging them into a game that doesn't actually exist.
Yes, just have someone here on YouTube just making Gundams.
Sure.
And have it play in the background.
Sure, it's got some satisfying noises. But yeah, that's a nay on consumerism for me.
Before you start, Cece, there's a shit ton of Gunpla ASMRs on YouTube.
There you go.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I doubt I'm actually going to watch any, but I'm just saying I would find that more compelling
Okay.
than this show.
Ooh, just like the lo-fi girl, but building a Gundam.
Okay, circling back to like your point thing, you're
Mhm.
looking at typically bigger models, and that may sound weird, but the whole thing about Gunpla is the complexity of the build.
Yeah,
So
it's kinda
the
like Lego a
smaller
little
it
bit.
is, the more you can flex, and there are more parts. So I would say this is a nay because it really doesn't go in. Like, they have the whole store. It doesn't go into, like, what actual Gunpla model building is like. First of all, customizing shit? No. But there are also, like, grades of scale, or scales of grades, and the price point varies wildly depending on what kind of grade you're getting. So, like, your 144, which is what I think you're seeing for, like, the $20.
Yes.
That's shit. That is absolute dog shit. The quality sucks.
Okay, that's Amazon.
So it's
I
the
was
Mega
kind of
Bloks.
assuming a little bit.
You would be laughed out of, like, a actual, like, collector thing. And then also, like, building these things fucking suck. I cannot emphasize it enough. And, like, you do have to get a lot of specialized equipment because when you get into the higher grades, like you saw Iori doing, like, it's not painted. You have to, like, glue everything together with special glue. You gotta get, like, special little tongs. You have to pop, like, 8 million little parts out of little plastic thing. I'm just like, if someone wanted to go, don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing because that sounds fun. I like crafts, I like building things, but you wouldn't know that this was about crafts from the show.
Yeah, like, if this inspired anyone to go out and actually buy a Gunpla kit, they wouldn't know the first thing they were doing. So, nah. Like, that's not gonna get anyone into it. If anything, someone would pick it up and then they'd be super fucking frustrated about it. Especially because I don't think those lower grade kits come with the supplies.
Yeah, I kind of think I agree with what you guys have kind of been saying of like I'm more of in a meh area. I think like seeing a bunch of the different robots, seeing a whole bunch of different things, it's like it is nice for advertising the series of Gundam, and it does make me kind of like one of the first ones they bring up was like Gundam Wing, and I do remember watching that show like when it was on Toonami and like it was the late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around there. I was a kid. And I was like, oh, hey, I remember that one. And it turns into the plane and all that thing. That's cool. But then it's also, you're right, it's not showing the piecing it together. It's not showing the actual hobby at all. So I think you're right. Someone who is interested is not going to get what they're looking at from this. And I don't know. It seemed like, yeah, it was more interested in the video game fighting as opposed to the Gunpla.
It felt like they were marketing more action figures than model building.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
you cannot do much with these models.
Yeah, they're
I cannot
displays.
emphasize that enough.
Right, they're mostly like for show. You put them on a shelf to show off the
You literally
detail
have
and the artistry
to, like,
of it.
super bond glue everything in place. They should not move.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as I'm kind of putting it as like if you were just trying to advertise some of your other Gundam properties, yay, that's okay. Let's look at all the different models. But if you're trying to market it as like, hey, this is Gunpla, are you interested? I'm like, nay, so I'm right in the middle.
Yeah, I felt similarly to you guys. I think for me, it was more of, am I looking at it from a kid's perspective, which I guess this show was more targeted towards, or from an adult's perspective? Because from an adult's perspective, it's like, yeah, this doesn't really sell me on what Gunpla actually is and what I would be doing with it as an adult and how I'd actually be like interacting with the models. And also, it honestly comes off like so heavy-handed that it made me not want anything to do with it. Like, it served as an anti-advertisement for me because I just don't like things that feel like they're forcing themselves on me.
Just a little side note, Gunpla is not for young kids because it's all those tiny parts. So
yeah, I figured.
I think it has like a 10 and above age limit.
Interesting. Okay.
That makes sense. So like, but if I'm looking at it as a kid, I think if I was a kid watching it, I'd be interested in, like Al said, watching other Gundam things. Like, I think it would excite me to see, like, those robots and stuff in other, other series. And I think I'd be interested in the toys that you find on Amazon that are not actual good Gundam, but are just like little things that I could play with as a kid. So I think looking at it from that perspective, I could see it being a good advertisement, which it seems like this show was advertising for kids. So I think it kind of served that purpose. And maybe once those kids are older, they'll be interested in what Gunpla actually is as an adult. So I could see it working on a certain level, and that's why I'll give it a meh to a light yay for advertising. But for me as an adult, as I am right now, it absolutely did not make me interested. But I could see where they were going with the marketing for kids.
I do have a question that this has like no bearing on like your score or whatever. But can we really judge it based off of what's available today? Because when this came out, you would have had to go to like a specialty store or to a convention to buy these.
In America, yes, probably. I don't know, because it's like, it's one of those things of like, this is in Japan, but it's also like, we're watching it in English, and we're watching it over here.
No, even in Japan, like, Gunpla stores are real, so you would have still had to have gone to, like, a Gunpla store.
Yeah, they have like, one in the show.
I feel like kids probably went to Gunpla stores.
I think it probably like depends on how big of a town you live in.
I'm more just like, you couldn't just go on Amazon when this came out.
Yeah, it's a little less, like, impulsive.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what the Amazon stuff is for now.
I think the lower grade, like, Gundams, though, like, kids could still play with and be interested in those ones that don't have as many tiny pieces, right?
Oh, the show's definitely just made, like, actual opposable toys.
Yeah.
Can I throw this out there? I might switch my advertising to a yay because I want to buy some of these shitty Gundams on Amazon real quick, and then we can all actually play this show out by smashing them together.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Is
then
anyone
we can't...
in on this?
Oh, yes.
We can't glue them together then, because that will come up in the show.
I'm staying in May then.
Can we still do that, though?
I mean, you know what? If we'll see if we can... we'll see after the tournament. Anyway, we should move on to production. Envy, I think you're leading us off on this one?
Well, I've seen... I guess we've all been kind of meh on this show to begin up until this point, but I will say I did enjoy my time watching the show, mainly for this category, because, yeah, it's basically an excuse to do a bunch of cool-ass looking Gundam fights with, we don't need to worry about, capitalism or slavery or, all the other shit that Gundam's done over the years. So just cool robot fights, and it's tournament-style fights, and you do one-on-one battles, and I don't know, I thought the music was great. I thought the action was fantastic. I thought the animation was great. So, and as far as the voice acting, I thought the voice acting was fine for the most part, but yeah, the action, the effects, the music, they all carry the show for me. And yes, I know Gundam has had a very long history of great fights, so I think this just kind of adds to it. So it's a yay for me.
I'm not gonna have much to say for this one. I have no complaints, so it's a yay, maybe a light yay. I'm fine with it.
I mean, for me, it's Gundam. They are tried and true. Of course, it's beautiful. It's a pretty high yay. The only thing I did have an issue with is that, and this isn't on like the actual production of the show in like Japan, but when they dubbed it, they did such a bad job of the lip flaps.
So bad.
It was driving me insane. But other than that, like the actual like show itself, so well done. But like, it's Gundam. They've been doing it. This was what, like 2001?
2000, like it was in the 2010s.
I was gonna say,
Was
like, this
it?
was 2013.
Yeah, I think this
They've
was
been
like
doing
recent.
it for like 40 years then.
Yeah. Does it being in 2013 change your thoughts on how accessible Gunpla is?
No. I would say like that might have been like where Amazon was really starting to like become more of like a giant, but like it wasn't
I was gonna say, like, I don't remember Amazon getting big until like 2014, 2015, while I was in college and just starting cosplay. Like, that's around the time that I remember, or Prime memberships are probably still a thing before this, but this was around the time when like everyone was kind of like getting a Prime membership because of how much money it saved
students.
you. Yes. And we wanted to buy stuff.
Yeah, like my first year in college, I ordered a bunch of shit on Amazon for my photography class, and it went missing like twice and took months to get there. So like, Amazon was not how it is now.
Not at all. And even then, it still gets lost.
But you know what doesn't get lost? Sunrise with its animation of Gundam, because you're right, they do know what they're doing. I'm definitely a yay on this production, and I know some people are complaining a little bit here and there about the English voice cast. I gotta be real with you. No, they're not entirely great. I think Reiji's fine. I didn't have any problems with his voice actor. Everyone else is a little bit weird, but that actually kind of adds something for me, because I kind of find them funny bad.
Yeah,
like,
same. I
the
feel
main character, Sayori, I keep trying not to say Sayori. Honestly,
Say
it just
Iori.
say. Our main character, Blue Kid, I swear, it's just Ketchero, but like older from Ghost Stories.
That's what I was saying.
Those are the vibes.
And I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this. Like, Texas guy's kind of funny, and Italian guy's kind of funny. It's like, just, I know it's silly, but like, I was actually enjoying that dub just a little bit, because it was kind of bad. So I'm a yay.
Okay, the dub was really bad, and I did not enjoy it at all. I thought the goofy voices were just goofy. But I'm not gonna hold it against it too much, because, you know, the Japanese dub is probably not that bad. So, taking aside the English dub, I think the production was great on this. I think the animation was so bright and pretty to look at, and just really well done. And, you know, 2013-ish, you know, some shows didn't look this good. You know, this was pretty high for that time period. So, and the fights looked awesome, of course. So I have no complaints about anything in terms of the production, except the dub was terrible. So I would still give it a yay anyhow.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say too much because I'd just be repeating everything everyone else has already said. But yeah, it's a yay because it honestly it looks really nice. So yeah.
Okay, so moving on into final thoughts. We've pretty much covered most of the categories. Final thoughts is basically just would you want to continue watching this? Cece, start with you. Yay, nay, or meh, or wherever you're gonna be.
Probably nay. I do not for me. Was not interested.
To be fair, CC is very much not a giant robot person.
Which is weird because Voltron was like one of my favorite shows of all time.
Which is really weird because you do giant robots in movies.
Yeah, if it's live action, it's fine, but something about animated is like it's not as magical.
Pacific Rim? That one's good.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one.
Ah, man,
What?
you might like it.
Yeah.
If you like live action giant robots.
Add it to the list.
Yep.
Also, Say is bad enough at video games, he could be a YouTuber. Just switch career paths. I've watched that.
Wow.
I don't know. So, like, obviously I'm a Gundam nerd, so, no. I have watched this through in its entirety once. Started watching it, remembered why I hated it so much. Fun fact, I was, like, going insane trying to figure out where else I had heard Reiji's voice actor. And it turns out I was just remembering him from voice acting Reiji.
Right, I tried looking up
Oh
the
my
voice actors for this, and
God.
no one had a Wikipedia page, so I'm pretty sure no one here was in
Reiji is
anything
the
else.
only thing he's done.
They were just randos.
I was literally driving myself insane. And I'm like, oh, I must be remembering him from the first time I watched this. Okay. But, yeah. I would just say go watch an actual Gundam show. As long as it's not Gundam Seed, you'll probably like it more.
I'm kind of a meh here. Like, yeah, it didn't really sell me on what it was trying to do that much, but and I kind of come back to, like, I was kind of having a little bit of fun with it, because it's not great, but at the same time, it's kind of enjoyable in the ways that it's kind of bad. Not, like, laugh out loud hilarious kind of thing, but I don't know. It's kind of a meh. I might watch this maybe for a laugh. But, yeah.
Yeah, this one was a pretty hard nay for me. There wasn't much that I got out of it. I have no reason to continue it. I feel like if I have any interest in Gundam, I would just watch an actual Gundam show that's not just an advertisement for Gundam, but is actually Gundam. So I have no reason to continue this. The only thing I really liked was the production, so it's pretty solidly a nay.
Yeah, I'm also giving it a nay. Like Yin said, I'd probably watch this if we were, probably just watching, like, one of the original series. But yeah, like, this was just, no.
Yeah. I give it a meh to a light yay. I was, enjoying watching it despite my earlier complaints, mainly for the production, and I'm just kind of curious to see where this underground fighting ring, because that's what it's based. It's either going to be an underground fighter ring or a shadowy organization like in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's going to try to take over the world or something.
Mafia.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, the characters really didn't grab me, so I'm kind of like a meh.
By the way, they were basically cosplaying, like, space Nazis. So.
Yeah, Japan's got things about that, but that doesn't matter because we're leaving Japan and we're going over to the planet Z. What the fuck was it? Hang on.
That
I
planet.
think they were called
Planet
Zoids.
Z in Zoids Chaotic Century.
Zoid.
So, I think we had some people say that they had no familiarity with Zoids. Who did have familiarity with Zoids? It was me, Chibi, Kozi?
Me.
Yeah. Did anyone have any Zoids growing up?
Yeah.
I did not.
I had a couple of them.
I had a couple too, because New Century was better.
Okay, yes, that is a fair assumption. But at the same time, how about this Chaotic Century? We get to meet a guy named Van Flyheight. That's a weird name, and he's on a hoverboard getting chased by a giant robot scorpion. That's a great opening scene for anything, and then finds the ruins of an ancient mecha animal things from an old war, and he finds a pet robot dinosaur.
He hatches a robot dinosaur.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I paused at that bit. Like, what?
Well, he hatches a robot dinosaur. There you go.
Yep.
And then, they're gonna go off and have adventures. He also hatches some random girl out of a pod, as you do in a sci-fi anime. And then they revive a dead mechanical lion to fight a scorpion and 2 wolves. And
Yay.
I feel like I feel like I'm slowly but surely reverse engineering like Aesop's Fables or something, where the lion comes to life and fights off the 2 desert wolves and their scorpion friend, and then we go to the Valley of Wind where their main export is beans, and then we meet the sister. Okay, yeah, no, I was that's the only
basically
thing that I thought
basically throughout your explanation, all I could think of was that one clip from Spaceballs. Everybody get that? Like, just everybody get
that? We meet a sister, we meet a priest, a whole bunch of stuff. There's kidnapping, there's bandits, and your robot dinosaur friend can fuse with other Zoids, but this is not Zoids Fusers. That's like 2 series down the line from now. And that makes super enhancement Zoids. And we meet a Stegosaurus Zoid, and we meet a guy in a Fox Zoid, and all sorts of stuff. And we find out that this dinosaur is really special, and you found the super special awesome thing that's going to make you the protagonist, kid. Now go off and be like your dad, who also had a Zoid and died with a Zoid. I feel like
It's always the dad thing.
Give the dinosaur a stupid name.
Well, yeah. This is going to be a running theme of, like, dads who just disappear, but we're really good at one thing.
We're just really good at this monster catching thing.
Hobbies are the children version of daddy issues.
Yeah. Did I miss anything? We hit most of the
that
stuff.
Covers it.
No.
I would think we should,
we're
like,
good.
there's, like, I don't know whether there will explain
I mean,
this,
there
but-
was a. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
the 3rd episode kind of has its own standalone plot about a hidden fortress with a Zoid that stays behind, and it's kind of heartbreaking that Zoid's gonna stay behind forever because, spoiler alert, all the members of the fortress died.
Yeah, it's like that dog episode of One Piece.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the dog episode of Futurama with
Aw.
Every
Yeah.
show has a dog episode like this. Guaranteed.
It's a trope.
Yeah. I feel like there's a little bit of background here since we're not living in the real world. This is a alien planet that's mostly desert, I believe, that humans colonize, but it also has sentient biomechanical pilotable mecha animals. So yeah.
You're saying alien planets aren't real?
Well, I'm just saying it's not Earth, like Gundam
They're
Build Fighters
avoiding
and
us.
a lot of these other shows are. But yeah, I think that covers everything. Should we get into it? Should we get down to the nitty gritty of it all?
Yep.
Okay, who's up? I think Kozi, you're starting now. Plot. What do you think of the plot?
Nay.
that was fast.
Any extra
I-
words on that?
I
Wow.
hate Chaotic Century. Like, the plot... Like, they tried to have a central plot, but it ends up being
I just
want
to throw this out there. Try to keep it to what these 3 episodes were for
yeah.
spoiler purposes.
Well, so the thing is, if you asked me, I could not tell you what the plot actually is of this, so like that stands on its own. And I'm talking in the full, like this season and the series that followed it up. I don't fucking know what's going on.
If I'm looking at this correctly, it's all the same series. There's just a time skip in the middle.
There's one directly after this that's like 100 years in the future, and then New Century is even further than that, and kind of so like obviously, God.
Nope, it goes Chaotic Century, then New Century. Then Fusers, then Genesis, and then
Okay,
Wild.
maybe the second season was named funny then. There's
I don't know.
definitely something in between them.
There's literally, I'm looking at the list right here, and it goes Chaotic Century 1999, New Century 2001.
Maybe 1999 was just a really long year.
That
Maybe
was
it
whenever you
was.
could have like a whole lot of episodes
Yeah.
thought, as opposed to like
Exactly.
a bunch of cores individually.
Felt like 2 seasons.
Well, so there
Yeah,
is
right.
like a time skip. I think that might be what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that is there. This Chaotic Century is 67 episodes, and it does include a 2 or 3 year time skip.
Okay, anyways, so like, I don't know. Like, the only thing I could tell you is there's a war
Sorry,
at some point, I think.
Guardian Force? Does that ring a bell? Because that's after the 2 year time skip.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a war, I think. And I think that is, like, why I'm, like, plot is a nay, because it just didn't stick with me.
I was actually kind of a light yay for this 3 episode plot. I mean, it's pretty basic hero's journey, but, we established giant robots and stuff, and, we're gonna go out and find more robot shenanigans to do with and we gotta figure out what's going on with this pet dinosaur that's a robot. Also, there's a girl who has amnesia. A lot of plot threads we could be following here. I don't really know where this is going to go. I know a little bit where this is going to go, but based on these 3 episodes, it's at least a decent enough start for a sci-fi fantasy journey across the desert. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I felt similarly, actually. I'd probably give it a light yay. I felt like the story kept me interested for the most part. I really liked the world. It kind of gave me a children's Mad Max kind of vibe. I don't know, I liked it. I dug it.
Mini Mad Max.
What?
Mini Mad Max.
Mini Mad Max. I feel like it's something that I really would have liked as a kid because I was huge on dinosaurs and I would have just thought this was really cool with the robots and all that. Like, I can imagine my younger self, if I had known it existed, really enjoying this. But even as an adult, I still enjoyed these 3 episodes. I don't know if it just gets lost along the way, like Kozi was saying, but from just these 3 episodes, I thought the plot was pretty interesting. So I'd give it a light yay.
I will also give it a light yay, mostly because it actually, like, I feel more like there is a story I'm supposed to be following, rather than, like, they're just advertising to me the mechs that are in the show. And, I don't know, it's just kind of like the sci-fi, like, off-world planet and robots, specifically like animal robots, are just kind of like really cool. Again, I can't really remember how much of this I have seen, if I've seen any of it all, but Van's face looks vaguely familiar, although I feel like I would have remembered the dinosaur bit a bit more. But that's besides the point.
I know why you recognize him. He's like if Jim Hawkins from Treasure Planet spiked his hair up.
Yeah.
Maybe just a bit.
He even has the hoverboard.
Oh My Goddess, I think, also had the facial markings like that.
I did not watch that show.
Oh my god, I loved Oh My Goddess as a kid.
But yeah, so let yay.
I'll be honest, first episode, maybe it's because I had a long day at work, but I was falling asleep or like dozing in and out of it, and I was kind of getting like confused a little bit. But then second episode, it's kind of your stereotypical plot of girls getting, not stereotypical, but I don't know, I thought the third episode was the most interesting because of that abandoned Zoid in the fortress. I kind of just thought the first 3 episodes, your standard hero's journey kind of start to the thing, and the part where the girl gets kidnapped and you gotta give me your dinosaur robot in exchange for it's like they're gonna betray them. It's like it's completely obvious, but so for story, I'm kind of like a meh.
I wanted to like this one, but I just could not focus. I think also, like Envy, I had a rough week, and my attention span was just not having it. I don't know what happened in any of these episodes. There were a lot of robots, and I don't know which robots were which. All I know is I was told to avoid the Noid when I was growing up, so...
That's about pizza.
Maybe that's what was setting off the red flags in my head.
Oh man.
I'm gonna say a light nay. Like, maybe if I come back to this a different time, or watch, like, one of the other iterations of it or whatever, I'll have a better time. But not this one, not today.
So, characters, I think I'm starting this one. Like, I enjoyed the plot. The characters in the plot were kind of on the meh side for me. I mentioned, like, oh, this is a good start for, like, a hero's journey. But at the same time, Van is very generic in a lot of ways. And the girl, I think her name is Fiona.
Mhm.
She's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
She's that I remember literally nothing, so I'm gonna, like, ask every possible annoying question. And,
Because we need to be filled in as the audience.
I get that, but they could have skipped around a little bit with that.
No. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying she's a plot device.
Yeah, I know, but there's, like, I've seen that kind of thing. Like, I know nothing about real amnesia, but I know for narrative and plot-based amnesia, you know, you can have people like this where it's like, oh, we're gonna not know anything. Or you can have the amnesia where it's like, yeah, no, I know how to drive a car or use words or what words means. I just don't remember anything about myself. I kind of prefer that kind of amnesia because it doesn't bog us down with this useless dialogue that she's giving us through half the episode. Yeah, outside of that, no one else is really memorable. I like the dinosaur. The dinosaur is cool, and the fact that the robots are sentient kind of makes them characters a little bit, maybe, at some point. I don't know. Pet robot dinosaur, man. That's at least gives it enough to get it up to a meh for me.
Oh, that reminds me of
Borderline
like
like
the
it.
robot dinosaur that my brother had when he was a kid.
Maybe it was this.
No, it was not. It was the Roboraptor toy, I think.
Yeah, I'd give this like a light nay. I don't remember much of anything about these characters except that girl who's pretty annoying. Everybody else, I couldn't tell you like two things about them, to be honest. So I'd give it mostly leaning towards nay. I don't have much to say that Al didn't say.
Yeah, I would go meh. They're kind of generic for the setup of the show, so...
I agree with you, Al. Dinosaur's best character. Like, I want him as I want him as a pet. Like,
Is it 'cause he
I want
didn't
him.
talk? Was that it?
Well, no. Well. I
A
mean,
little bit.
just the fact that he was always loyal. Like, he barely knew him like a day, and he's following him for life and death. And it's like, you go, bro. You go.
He imprinted.
I guess. Yeah, the main character was kind of your standard, and I did find the girl annoying. I liked the sister because, you know, she seemed like a responsible, you know, older sister, and then, oh, we're probably never going to see her again. So, yeah, and the villains, I guess, were fine, I guess. Well, at least the Team Rocket from the first two episodes I thought were fine, I guess. The one guy who was, like, the main villain of the third episode, he seems like he's going to be a reoccurring character, so...
He's in the theme
he
song.
seems yeah, he seems okay. So, yeah, I'm kind of a meh, but extra points for Dino Boy.
Yeah, we love the dino, and that's about it.
Yeah.
We stay in the Dino.
Yeah.
Stan a little robot pet that doesn't talk.
I'm probably a nay. Like, you can't even, like, make fun of them. There's just, like, nothing remarkable about the characters. Besides Zeke. And even in that, I feel like Zeke acts like a giant cat. So we're like, oh,
It's your baby.
He reminded me of a dog, but yeah, I guess what you're saying, he was a pet.
I don't know. Like, the way he attached, I guess maybe that's more dog than cat.
Yeah, if he was a cat, he'd probably be batting at Van.
Yeah.
He's a duck. He's a duckling.
I thought ducks were assholes.
No, that's
no,
geese.
we're going with that.
That's a geese.
Zeke is a
These
duck.
are assholes.
Honestly, can we throw that out there? Dinosaurs are probably more closely related to ducks than dogs, so...
There we go.
That's true.
It's true.
True.
It's canon.
Okay, was advertising. Yin, did it sell you on Zoids?
I think since the best parts for me were the cool dinosaur robot things and the world and everything. I would say it did a pretty good job of selling me on it. I came out of it feeling like they were cool. I didn't feel like it was pushed upon me too much because it wasn't like the other one where it felt like it was just about the advertising. This one felt like a story, but the robots were cool, so, and, just like everybody was saying about Dino Boy, it's like, of course you would want a pet like that. So of course you want a toy like that, So I think they did a pretty good job of selling them just in a more organic way, which I appreciated actually through the story. So I thought they were pretty cool. I'd buy one, especially as a kid. So I'd give it a yay for advertising.
For advertising for this, I would also say I'm a light yay to a yay. Again, to reiterate what Yin said, it wasn't feeling like, they were forcing the advertisement of, hey, buy our toys down your throats. And also it was just kind of honestly, I or my brother probably would have liked to have a little Zeke of our own, in the house. Because again, like I said, my brother had that Roboraptor toy. So I feel like a toy like Zeke would have been right up his alley. And I feel like for me, all of the cool mech animal models are pretty interesting. I particularly like the Ligers a lot. So I would say as far as selling me the product is concerned, I would say yeah, I'd buy that. Yay.
If I was a kid, I probably would have wanted Zeke, the toy dino, and the big one that the main character rides. As an adult, it didn't really grab me too much. I'm thinking if I had a kid and I showed him that, or I showed her that, would I think that my child would want that? And I'll be honest, I don't even know if they would, because I'll get into that in production when we talk about it, but I don't think the models looked that great. If it was a better looking show, then maybe, but so I'm kind of a meh. Although, yeah, give me a Zeke figure now. I'll put him up on the mantle.
Yeah, I think I'm also a light yay, because I would definitely take a Zeke figure or plushie, but probably not any other ones. It did not sell me on the Zoids as a whole, just on Zeke. It also did not sell me on the rest of the show, so I don't know if I would even be interested in continuing this to get more of him. Just give me the little Zeke and I'm good.
I'm a real Debbie Downer. I don't know if you can tell, I really hate this one.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm gonna give it a nay, and that's because I watched this as a child, and I did not want the toys. So, in that, I feel like it failed its marketing to, children, because I didn't watch it alone. My siblings also watched it. They didn't want anything from it. Our friends watched it. They didn't want anything from it. And rewatching as an adult, I like Zeke, but I think it's because he's the most enjoyable part of an otherwise kinda show, and I would not go out of my way to buy Zeke.
It is interesting that it doesn't feel as iconic. I don't know how to say it, but it doesn't feel like there are that many standout Zoids that you see in stores, or I don't know if it's just because it's less popular than a lot of the really big ones, but a Gundam, you recognize certain Gundams, but I don't think I've ever been able to recognize a Zoid, even though I didn't really watch either of those shows. So I don't know if that speaks to the overall popularity or a failure in advertising or the way the models look, but it's kind of weird.
I don't know. I was a yay on advertising. I like the idea. I think part of it is just robo animals, and I think what you guys are saying that it is not trying to sell you the toys. It's it's a show. It's here's the things, and you want it as a result of it being in a thing that's interesting to watch. I don't know. I like them. I like a little wolf thing. I'll go for a Liger. Zeke's great. Did we wrap around already?
I
guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chip, you want to take us into production?
Production. So, when was this show made exactly? It was like, what?
It was
1999.
2001. Oh, was it 99? Oh.
2001 was New
Yeah.
Century. The good one.
Yeah, so I honestly, for 1999, this is by my standards passable. Mostly as far as like what they were doing with the 3D models. Like I think that was still like kind of a newer thing that like animes that were actually like airing were doing. Like 3D at that point was not fantastic. So I would say that's, fine. I could understand that as like a way for them to like animate the Zoids. Like it would probably be a lot easier to use 3D models than to just hand draw all of them. And as like voice casting is, standard voice casting for that time. I honestly wasn't annoyed, so I was okay. I don't really remember the score very much, so there is that. But I think overall, I would probably, like, give it a light yay. Just because, like, I didn't think, like, it was terrible. And, I could honestly watch it. It's not like, my eyeballs are, like, straining looking at the screen. And that, that, like, I'm about to tear my ears off because I don't want to listen to their voices anymore. So, yeah.
They probably didn't have the budget for this, but I really wish the Zoids were 2D and not 3D models because I know it's 99 and obviously even back then for American cartoons, 3D wasn't, that great.
Was not good. Not good.
But yeah, it does. But still, looking at the CG Zoids, it's still very noticeable, to put it lightly. I don't want to hold it up too much against it, but at the same time, I didn't enjoy watching the fights because of the CG. Voice cast I thought was fine, I guess. I didn't mind the voice acting for the two main characters, despite my problems with them as characters. My favorite sound of the entire show, by far, was Zeke's walking sounds. I could listen to that on a loop. Just dun 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 dun. I can't do it.
It's funny because that's how they did it. They just put it on a loop.
So yeah, it's kind of a meh for me, but that walk cycle for Zeke is a high yay.
It's an A for me because seeing the 3D and the 2D, that really, what's the word? Squicks me out, I guess.
Squicks.
I feel so uncomfortable. Like
Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
Not quite. It's
Cognitive dissonance.
no. It's probably too much of an info dump for the podcast. But I don't like it. I don't like watching it. And Zeke's footsteps was the only other thing that stood out to me about any of the production. I could not decide if I loved it or hated it. It reminded me exactly of something else, and I cannot think of what it is now. But it had, like, the same exact tone.
It might have been just, like, another walking thing. It might have just been, like, a stock
It might have
sound
been
effect.
Doom? I'll have to go back and listen to it again. It might have been, like, the original Doom.
I'm actually a meh on this. I don't mind the 3D. Like Chibi said, like, it was kind of breakout technology, but also, like, the 3D was meant to look like the figures, which I feel like it gave the general impression of what a real life, figure would look like. Honestly, the 2D animation, while it's not bad for 99, I hate older art styles. So, like, I think it's ugly.
That's fair.
Score-wise, nothing, like, stands out. I do like the opening, but that's about it. Just ambivalence.
I'm kind of on the same wavelength there. It's not doing anything wrong in my eyes. It's just not doing anything, like, particularly great. I do think that at the very least, and again, I had some of these toys, they do look like that. So that is something. I think they're getting all the details right in that, but, they look big and giant, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's kind of a meh. It's how did everything go? It was okay. Everything's okay. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be real. It was pretty ugly to me. I didn't like the 3D. I didn't like the 2D very much. I don't know. I feel like if it was remade today, I think it could look really cool because I think the designs were cool. I think they had cool ideas for both the 2D and for the 3D. Even like the character designs I thought were pretty good. It was just, I don't know if it was just a low budget problem, but it just looked kind of ugly. So
there is one that came out in 2018 if you want to give it like a modern day shot.
maybe, I don't know. It probably looks a little bit better, so that could be.
Looks like they're still mixing 3D with 2D.
No, boo.
Possibly.
Okay, I don't know. Either way, the sound, there's nothing really memorable for the music for me. I don't know. The dub was kind of I thought it was kind of funny in places. Like, there were a couple lines that were just spoken real weird. But otherwise, it was just kind of a mediocre dub. So, it was kind of a nay for me.
Okay.
I think we circled around.
Yeah.
Yep, we did.
Envy, why don't you take us into final thoughts for Zoids?
It's weird for me. I liked where episode 3 ended off, but this is just me personally. I don't know if I'm willing to watch anymore. Like, I thought it was fine, but it didn't really stand out to me either. And I would rather, I'd rather watch something else if I'm being honest. Like, it wasn't bad. It's just I'm just kind of ambivalent to it. So it's kind of like a meh for me.
I feel like I said a lot of nays this time around, but it's a meh overall for me. Cause I think I want to like it. I like the concepts. But just like all the little pieces kind of getting to me. I'm gonna say meh. It evens out to a meh.
No, I'm a nay. If you want to watch Zoids, go start with New Century.
I'm kind of a light yay here. I think there's enough, like, plot intrigue. I mean, I think there's some drawbacks with, like, some of the character elements, but, like, yeah, I think the world's kind of cool. I think at the very least we have an open enough place to go with the story that, like, there's could be a number of different things. And plus, like, I feel like we've seen maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6, 7 maybe different kinds of Zoids. I feel like there should be a lot more, and I'm kind of interested to see what some of those could look like. So yeah, I'm kind of a light yay here for final thoughts.
I think taken all together, it's hard for me because I liked the plot well enough. I liked the Zoids themselves well enough, and I like the world, but I really don't like the way it looks, and I really don't like the characters. So I feel like it evens out to a meh. Like, I don't know if I'd really continue it of my own free will, but I wouldn't be mad about continuing it if somebody else, like, if I knew somebody was really into it and was like, let's watch this, I wouldn't be mad about it, but I don't think I'd seek it out on my own, so I guess it's a meh.
That's fair. So, I would say for me that this is probably a light yay, mostly just because I was enjoying where the story was going. And while the characters are kind of like, stereotypical, like, I could see myself continue watching it, just to see what happens.
Okay, I think that's everybody, right? We've had our thoughts on all the shows and all the different stuff.
Yup.
Okay, well, now it's time to come down to who's winning and who's losing today. So,
As a wise man once said, it's time to duel.
Got a few weeks for that, man. Save it.
Yeah.
Not yet.
I
Too
like
soon.
where your head's at. But
No, you got to do
hold
that
on
every
to
single
it.
week. You got to do it.
No,
every
I
Every
will not.
week.
No, I will not. Okay.
Aw.
So
Let's go.
we'll put it to a vote later. Okay, so we're gonna start with plot. One of these shows gets a yay. One of these shows gets a nay. Cece, where are you for plot? Who got the yay and who got the nay?
They're gonna be like, neither.
Well, I think an easier thing would be which show do you think had the better plot, and then
Well, yeah,
vice
that
versa
would be
for all
the
other
yay, and
categories.
the person who didn't is an A.
Well, we didn't do that last time. We just said which one we liked better. We didn't do yay or nay for.
I'm
that
trying
the
to
last
incorporate the name more lately so that we can,
I think
you know,
we've said yay or nay a lot.
Branding
though.
envy.
branding.
There you go.
Yeah, I would give it to Zoids.
Okay. Kozi?
I would also give the yay to Zoids.
I would probably give that to Zoids as well. Yay for Zoids plot.
Yeah, I'm gonna give plot to Zoids.
Okay. Not that it
Yeah,
matters
I
at
will
this point. Cece, Envy, thoughts?
Yay.
I mean, I would have given it to Gundam anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, it's not a complete shutout, but yeah, Zoids Chaotic Century takes the plot. Moving on to characters. Kozi, you're leading us off. Which characters caught you the most?
I would give it to Build Fighters.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. They were characters that I could be like, yeah, that's a character, as opposed to just a very blank or annoying slate, so...
Yeah, just because I kind of liked Reiji and was kind of interested in him, I'll give it to Build Fighters.
I don't know. I think the characters for Zoids are a little more memorable to me, despite the fact that everyone is generic. The unmemorableness of Gunpla's characters was, yeah, kind of their downfall. So
You
I'd
like
give it to
plot
Zoids.
and intrigue.
Listen, I love plot and intrigue.
Of which there was not much in Build Fighters, so.
No.
What little had, they showed their hands immediately.
Yes, they did.
Isn't this guy mysterious? It's
Would-
because he's an alien. Okay,
Yeah.
next.
Would you have
Yeah.
liked it if they drug it out?
Ugh.
Envy, where are you going with it?
Is this characters?
Yeah.
I tolerated most of the characters in Gundam Build Fighters, and as much as I love Zeke, I don't think he can carry the characters for me, so I'm going to give it to Gundam Build Fighters.
I'm going to give it to Zoids because I like that the Zoids were characters. And Gundam Build Fighters, the Gundams were not characters.
Okay, well, 4-2, Gundam Build Fighters takes character over Zoids. So moving on into advertising. Am I starting this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm starting this one. I'm gonna go with Zoids. Part of it just comes down to, I think, Robot Animal is more interesting than action figure to me, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Zoids.
Same. Zoids.
I'm going to go with Gundam. I would have wanted to buy more Gundams and Gunplas from that show than I would Zoids from Zoids, so...
I'm going with Zoids. Gundam, it didn't advertise what Gunplas were.
I would say yay for Gundam.
Okay, well, but again, kind of like 4-2, Zoids takes advertising.
So if they would have actually advertised, like, Gunpla as what they are, would you have liked it better?
Yeah, if it
Very
was more
possibly,
about,
yeah.
like building them and not just plugging them into a little VR video game, then yeah,
Had
I
they-
probably would have liked it
Did
better.
you-
Yeah.
Did any of you guys watch that, My Dress Up Darling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but I
actually,
heard
you know
a
what?
lot
There's
about it.
one that we've actually watched is like Nozaki, where they kind of like go into the actual process of making something. That
Right,
made me
yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
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 Like,
Had they
again-
done that, I probably would have been more interested in the Gunpla.
again, like what I said, like, if the show had been about an otaku who really liked putting together Gundams, and we kind of learned a little bit about the history of Gundam in the show and everything, like, through that show, I think I would have really liked it.
Yeah.
But,
There are enough like fantasy things out there. I want to like learn a little bit about other people's hobbies. Just a little.
Yin, why don't you take us into production? Who do you think wins production?
This should
I-
be a sweep.
Think it's gotta be Gundam. It's just looks a lot better and sounds a lot better, and just overall the production was great on that one. I gave a nay to Zoids on production. It's gotta go to Gundam.
yeah, I'm gonna give it to Gundam as well, because it's a really nice looking show. And while I do think that Zoids was good looking for its time, I definitely feel like Gundam's just, it knows what it's doing.
Gundam.
Yep, Gundam. It's pretty.
Gundam sweet. Al,
Well,
don't
hold
be a
up now.
contrarian here.
I very much want to be at this point, but we didn't mention this. Build Fighters had, like, individual character themes for each person. And, like, one of them was, like, samba music for the class president or whatever he's fighting them. I don't know what it was, but that struck me.
That was actually from his Gundam.
Okay,
Oh.
well, I mean, hey, steal from the best
Just
stuff.
cheating a
It
little
works.
bit.
So, yeah, Gundam Build Fighters wins the yay for production, and we are currently tied 2-2,
Oh my god.
and it all goes down to final
Wow.
thoughts. So, who's leading us off? Chibi, I think you're leading us off on this one.
Final thoughts. Okay, so as far as like my overall enjoyment out of either of the shows, I had way more fun watching Zoids than I did watching Gundam. And I would definitely continue Zoids over watching more of this Gundam iteration. I would watch a different Gundam iteration, but not this one. So, it goes to Zoids.
I'm the exact opposite. I enjoyed my time watching Gundam more, and while I think Zoids probably has the better fleshed out story in the longer run, I thought the first 3 episodes of Gundam were more enjoyable, so I'm going to give it to Gundam.
I am having a difficult decision. Zoid seemed more interesting, but Gundam was easier to digest, and that's a big thing for me.
I feel like this is kind of unfair because, like, we're watching it together and, like, I kind of info dump about the Gundams.
How many episodes are each one? Is it cheating to base it on how long the series is?
Well, we're only going to be...
We're not
here's the
watching
thing.
all of it.
Can I...
Zoids is...
Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Because we're not watching this again, either of these shows for next week. We're watching 2 separate shows, and it's going to go through a whole round for those. So whatever goes on, assuming it goes on to the last thing, we're only going to be watching a total of 12 episodes of whatever show we're watching. 12 or 13, depending on how we feel, like, right towards the end.
I'm just trying to think about, like, which one I would be more likely to watch. And if it's, like, a 100-episoder, that's immediately shooting it down.
Well, I think I mentioned that this Zoids is 67 episodes. Gundam Build Fighters is 25.
It feels like just,
What?
like, a one-shot kind of thing.
25 plus 5 net animations and 6 net animations, so I guess 31, if you wanted to count it like that.
Is
Ugh,
that
that was pretty long then.
is that including the next iteration of it though?
Of Gundam Build Fighters?
Yeah, because Gundam Build Fighters goes directly into Build Fighters Try.
Oh. Well, if we're including that, then that's another 25 on top of that, plus
Right,
another...
Okay.
Oh,
So they're
and
both,
then
like,
They're
another-
both
long.
long.
Yeah, so they're both roughly 60-something episodes in total.
That's about
I think
right.
I would be more invested in Zoids in the long run.
I wouldn't be particularly inclined to watch either of these two further, but if I had to pick, it would definitely be Gundam, just because, like I said, like, I know a lot about it. I've watched most of the series. So, like, I can get that little tiny, like, bit of serotonin out of being like, I know that! I get that reference!
I am a little torn. Because on the one hand, I think that Zoids probably has the better plot. But on the other hand, I was having that, like, funny bad, having a good time with Gundam Build Fighters a little bit. But I think the thing for me is that eventually that'll get old. So I'm probably going to go with Zoids on this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say Zoids as well. I would give it to that one over Gundam.
Okay, so the final thoughts puts Zoids over the top for the yay. It wins the fight and moves on to the next round. Any last things to say? You know what, Kozi, you know a lot about Gundam Build Fighters. It's not coming back. What you want to say anything else about it?
Reiji's fiance arrives to drag him home.
Can I change my answer? Can I change my final thoughts? I may actually legitimately want to change my final.
Are you serious?
She shows up and
No,
she's like, "Oh, the only way to get you home is to be better than you at this video game and make you lose and break your spirit."
Oh my god, what?
Wow.
Okay, I'm not changing my answer, but I may end up watching a bit of Gundam Build Fighters. Fuck, do I want to change my answer? That's just gonna tie it. What the fuck?
Mr. Texas is evil capitalist man who is out there trying to steal the crystal that Reiji gave to Iori. You do see a bit of Iori's dad later on. Fellini is a major character.
I may have made a mistake.
Which is, I thought you had seen part of this, which was why I was like, oh, you like Fellini.
I saw him in one episode.
He just liked his accent.
Yeah. I like his name. I like
Bernoulli.
Fellini, the filmmaker.
You like the Fellini director.
Yeah.
Iori does eventually get forced to play on his own.
Okay, can I just say, that was one of the things, I'm really...
Yeah,
If we focused more on the actual world, I know we kind of said we were going to do advertising, but, like, as far as world building goes, it's so weird that he's allowed to just, like, it's a two-person thing versus a one-person thing. Also, how is it everyone's able to sneak up into these, like, hologram fights randomly?
Well,
that happened, like,
so
5 times in 3 episodes.
My big thing was the first episode, most of it was about Iori wanting to get better at the fighting aspect of Gunpla. And then for like the next 12 episodes, that gets completely railroaded because he's like, Reiji, you'll just fight for me.
Cop out.
I'm like, your whole character goal that they established was that you wanted to get better at this thing. And now you're not doing it. But yeah. The crystals are what's powering the Gundam matches. And to stop evil capitalists, they destroy all the crystals, which sends Reiji and his fiancée home. And then in Try, they've made like artificial crystals to restart the Gunpla battles. And Reiji and his fiance's daughter from their dimension world thing just like fucks with them for no reason. She just enjoys messing with the Earthlings.
Okay, I may legitimately need to start watching this show. It sounds just dumb enough, like right up my alley. Damn, I may have made a mistake.
You can. If we haven't ended the episode, we could.
No, we're ending the episode.
Well,
that's
now
pretty
I
much
spoiled it all.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's outsider information. I don't think you can change your answer based on that.
Yeah,
no
I
insider
shouldn't
trading.
No. No.
Nope.
We play by SEC rules here.
Like, again, I think if CC would have went purely off of, like, how we watched it, you would be more likely to watch Build Fighters all the way through.
Yeah.
Because I have, like, a running commentary. Or at the very least, I'm fucking dunking the shit out of them.
Sure. That's fun.
There is to be something to be said about watching something like that. Alright, well, Zoids wins, moves on to fight whoever's going to be winning next week in a few weeks, so let's talk about next week. Who do we got? We got 2 shows also who sell a lot of figures and action figures and all sorts of stuff like that, models. We have a show called Black Rock Shooters versus the 1984 Transformers show. So, yeah, very new, very old. Going up against each other. And I'm going to be interested to see
Black Rock
what
Shooter
happens with
is
this.
not new.
It's 2012, which is a lot newer than 1984.
Okay.
Comparatively.
Yeah.
We were still in high school. That feels like so long ago. Ooh.
I wasn't.
I mean, if we're going off of the game, I think the game was out before the anime.
In any case, we'll go over Black Rock Shooters and Transformers and all that sort of stuff next week. We'll be continuing and then I'll complete our action figure category. Move on to card games after that, then Monster Friends, eventually Battle Toys, and then we'll start seeing the winners fight each other. So come back next week and every week after, if you can, to watch us talk about this stuff. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series, Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!